Question 1450. In 1450, Guttenberg invented the printing press.
The movable type printing press.
Do you think
press
this
already existed? It's the movable type that Guttenberg invented.
Yes.
Not relevant to the question. You will see why if I can finish it.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Do you think this or the internet has had more impact on spreading lies?
Oh, fucking for sure, the internet.
On spreading lies.
Do you know what the printing press was first used for?
Well, relative to the culture that of the time.
Yes.
You have to look at it that first of all. So the biggest effect spreading lies is not necessarily a population-based thing or per capita.
Where did you get 1450 as well from? It says here 1440.
That's the point of the joke.
Yeah, okay.
No, it's not, but okay, you can use that. The page that just gives me dates that I plug in question numbers to.
Yeah.
I have to complain.
Well, the printing press couldn't spread that many lies when most of the people were illiterate and couldn't read anyway.
Yes, but do you know what the printing press was first used for?
Yeah, that's the
The
reason
Bible.
why.
Yeah.
Well, that actually
the
wasn't
biggest
what
lie
was
there
first
is.
used for. That's just what became really popular for.
Right, but I'm saying I think it's the internet because, like, you could literally spread one lie into several different countries in a matter of, like, fucking 30 seconds. I mean, Donald Trump did it with our whole country almost every day he was on fucking Twitter. So
yeah.
And I think that's faster.
But the question isn't necessarily what spread the lies the quickest. It's an overall thing.
yeah, but it impacted like.
And I honestly don't know the answers. I couldn't quantify the answer to this. I
Also,
don't know.
the printing press was still very expensive. It could only be used by someone who had some means and therefore usually education. The internet can be used by any idiot that can press a power button.
Right, Nerdima says the internet is faster, so lies can be debunked faster.
That is true. That is true, but they can get spread very, very fucking quickly.
No,
But lies never get counteracted. A lie goes around the globe three times before the truth wakes up in the morning.
Yeah, if debunking worked, we wouldn't have flat earthers.
Oh God, please don't get me started.
Ox says the internet is faster and more worldwide than the time of the press.
I would probably, if you're going to quantify it in those terms, that how quickly and the people got the access to the internet now, and how population is a lot wider. On that basis, I'm probably going to hazard a guess at the internet.
Fair enough.
I think no matter how you qualify it, it's going to have to be the internet because it can reach everywhere virtually simultaneously. With a printing press, even when they were printing newspapers, those only got out to the people in that one city. That wasn't going to get out across the whole country, let alone the whole world.
However, when you had the printing press, there was basically no possibility of something being debunked.
Right, but think about it like so. I'm not saying
there
Go ahead.
still wasn't, because most people couldn't read then.
Right, and like I'm not saying that the impact of the printing press didn't spread a lot of fucking lies, but just think about it. How many people can you think of right now that because the internet says that you shouldn't wear a mask because it's bullshit, don't wear a fucking mask because they believe that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but it wasn't the internet that said that. It's the news that said that.
Okay, the problem we got here is that we could probably, in the age of the internet, we could probably actually do some sort of study into how, how many lies or how far lies travel in a certain amount of time. It's difficult to do that. We're looking at the printing press. It's damn near impossible.
Well,
I will say I'm going to only say the internet because that's one we could possibly get data for it on.
See, I'm stuck now. I was coming into this question with the internet being my answer, but at the end of the day, you did not need to read to get the lies from the printing press.
No,
you would have a person that would read the newspaper to lots of people, and it would spread like that. Whereas, so I don't know, but there still was no debunking. There was no possibility of debunking.
Read the question again, exactly how it's written.
It's difficult. It's difficult to,
Sorry, the question is
difficult.
written.
We cannot get data on the,
Well, the second half of the question is written. Do you think this or the internet has had more impact on spreading lies? See, I don't know how you separate.
I still go with Guttenberg because at that period of our human history, communication was just beginning. Things like printing presses in Western world was just beginning, and so the fact that this could now come out and reach so many more people than was previously possible, I think had a greater effect on the total society.
I mean, you tell me. Do you think, in terms of spreading lies, you're putting a lot of blame on the internet? I'm mostly aiming this at Quinton. You're putting a lot of blame on the internet rather than the news companies.
Well, no, like I'm not just blaming the internet. Like news companies are at fault, but there are a lot of people that get their news from the internet. Like,
but okay, when we're talking about newspapers, until recently, if a newspaper got a reputation for printing lies, they'd go out of business.
That doesn't work with Fox.
Now it's just a fucking everyday occurrence on any news channel.
No. Yellow journalism.
Well, that's why I said until recently that things like Fox
goes back
totally
as
fucked
long
up
as
that equation. But in the 1970s, 1980s, if a newspaper got a bad reputation for printing wrong information, people stopped buying it.
Yeah, well,
that's not true. That's just not true.
I couldn't say that. I couldn't. I don't know that I'd agree with that. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what the reputation of US newspapers are like, but like the most popular newspaper in Britain at that time would have been The Sun, which is notorious for printing bollocks. It still is. Yeah, it's still probably
exists,
the most popular newspaper in the UK.
You're not looking broad enough to answer this question. Yellow journalism has existed ever since there became newspapers. There has always been newspapers that print lies with intention, and they've always continued to manufacture their lies without going out of business because of it. I mean, because there's always a certain percentage of the population that not only read and believe that, but like it.
Yeah, yes. I mean, like, look at the numbers
they want to be
polls every fucking week.
They absolutely know. There's examples of yellow journalism from say the 1700s in America, particularly in the political realm. But it goes back to agent papers in London and things like that. It's always been there.
That is true. From the first newspapers, there were always people who were printing slurs about their political rivals.
Yeah. Right, just let me catch up on the chat quickly. African Humanists. Yes, the internet's been used to spread lots of fake news. Dog says, the internet by far, the Flat Earth Society used to spread their nonsense from 1518. Never Again says, that book alone makes way too many people believe in shit that isn't true. I think talking about the Bible. More people use the internet than read newspapers in today's world.
Exactly.
That's very true. Never Again says, if education worked, we wouldn't have flat earthers either.
Yep.
I think the long and short of it is, if the printing press has any advantage, it's only because it had a 500-year head start. The internet will quickly catch up.
I would say that would possibly be the best answer to give here. That even if the printing press has historically spread more, it ain't going to take the internet long to catch up if it hasn't already.
Ricardo?
The printing press, because I was thinking, I think the internet started somewhere in January 83.
Not for the public. For the public, it wasn't until mid-90s.
But it's considered as beginning of 83 that the first internet communication started. And by that time, there were already like 1 billion Catholics around the world, or Christians, or religious people around the world. So that's one thing. The other is it was used by the rich to print out their books, their magazines, and in order to control the information that was being fed to the population. So I think that the internet is just a consequence of that. So the internet was used to carry on, but I think that the printing press was that started the whole movement.
Yeah, but I don't think you're thinking about one of the biggest reasons why I'm choosing the internet is because you can basically post a fucking lie anonymously, and if there's no way to prove who said it and no way to prove that it's wrong, that shit will catch like a fucking California forest on fire.
That's where it's very difficult, as I say, because we could probably, as I said earlier, if we really thought about it, anyone who's inclined to, could probably do a study into how much lies and how many lies have been spread by the internet. Now, I think it would be impossible to go through enough historical evidence to quantify that for the printing press.
I think it'd be hard to do for the
And the
internet.
other thing that
I think it'd be very hard to do with the internet, but it's possibly doable. But what you can get with the internet is the sheer speed of a lie. It's not just
the printing press had a much higher level of accountability because you could tell who was responsible for printing a document.
And
on the internet, you can't trace a lie back to its source.
But not only that,
you couldn't.
You can get a lie through the internet, but you will get like 10 people coming in on the back of it and correcting that lie. The printing press, you could have a book that was printed, and then you could have another 2 or 3 books that were printed to contradict that one. But there was no guarantee that people would get that.
But there's no guarantee with the internet either, because
but I think
we had. I mean, a good example was that Donald Trump meme from a few years ago. You know the quote where he's supposed to have said, "If I ever run for president, I'll do it as a Republican because their voters are stupid." Trump never said that. I mean,
that's right.
Donald Trump never said that. Yet, as much as last year,
it's a good meme
going around, and it's been corrected so many
it's a good
times.
Meme. Right, yeah, but here, I'm going to go.
It's not true.
I just want to read what Dog wrote. If it wasn't for the internet, flat earthers would be writing on walls with their own shit. 28 million people read print circulation, weekly print circulation, 28.6 million units. So that's not very much. Day. 28 million newspapers a day are read. And something like 4 billion people use the internet. So
no, Stool. I don't need time to rethink this. A lot of what is printed probably isn't in existence anymore, and we don't know how far a lot of it. We can't quantify how much of it is spread. That's wrong, Stool.
Here's one for the chat and the panel. Who did invent the printing press?
No idea.
Off the top of my head, It's not. It wasn't Guttenberg though.
No, I was thinking it was probably it was probably a loom guy.
Type.
It was probably a loom guy.
Jonathan, wait.
Johannes Guttenberg. You're thinking of? Yeah.
You're thinking of, yeah.
I can't read today. I'm gonna
go on, Jenny.
China, a couple thousand years before Gutenberg.
I figured it probably had some origins.
My answer to this is going to be the press for one reason and one reason only.
The Bible.
No, not the Bible.
Because you're good at being wrong?
Yes. Right, no, because the cost to debunking is cheaper on the internet. That's not to say I don't think lies spread and I don't think that confidence was easy.
Are we talking about money-wise or damage-wise?
No, I'm talking about money-wise.
I don't know.
The cost for you can debunk basically for free. You cannot do that in the time of the printing press. You cannot. If you want to debunk, you need money.
Yeah, there's also
on the internet, you can post a counterclaim. You can't necessarily effectively debunk because you can't really get that information to all the people who saw the original lie. And
but that's no different. No. Wait. That's no different to a printed book. There's no way of you getting that.
There's a point there, because back in the day, if you printed a book or if you printed an article in a journal or whatever, that it was a lie, the average Joe would not be able to do anything except talk really loud in a pub against it. Nowadays, anyone can go on the back of anything on the internet and just post whatever they want. But so back then, the cost of if a lie went to be printed, then the cost to retract that lie would be, or to contradict that lie would be much higher, and it would only be available for some.
Yeah. And there's still no guarantee that it would be read. There's still no guarantee it would be read by the people it needed to be read to contradict it.
And I would expect more often than trying to put on a campaign to change the lie, that the first reaction by the populace would be to burn the book, because there were such limited copies printed that they could effectively burn the book and make it go away.
Stool says, "Bring back pamphlets."
That's the word that I was looking for.
Since I interrupted Purple, I'm going to let him have that last word.
Well, just you're saying about the cost of it, and the cost of a lie on the internet often comes into there being millions of dollars in legal fees.
That's also true.
If there is someone to counter it.
Well, that's what I mean.
Lies.
If you're attempting to counter it, it can be incredibly expensive to track down the original source and hold anyone accountable.
But most lies you can't counter, because you would have to, especially, under US law, you would have to show that you are a harmed party.
Yeah,
right?
but
Most lies are not targeted. Again, you look at Brexit. Brexit is a perfect example of the core set of lies that have been built up over 40 years.
Yeah, but sadly,
and they weren't
both
counterable.
sides of that both campaigns.
Yeah, but the campaign itself doesn't matter. The issue is the attitude was put in play by the Daily Mail and the Sun, printing lies over 30 years, so that people came into the Brexit campaign with this whole list of things that they believed that the EU did and didn't do.
Yeah.
That narrative wasn't changeable then. It was too late.
Because you got to the point with the whole thing of they want to ban English ale or something like that.
Yeah.
You got shit like that from the Daily Mail.
All the time. The bananas, the sausages, all these things that
sausage,
were made up.
Yeah, I remember that one.
Well, part of the problem is society.
Dave, I'll give you the best one.
Yeah.
The British,
no matter how many times Trump's lies were debunked, 30% of the population never wanted to hear it.
No.
The British prawn cocktail crisp.
Yeah.
Now, do you know the journalist who
Boris
was most
Johnson
responsible? Yes, for that one.
Yeah.
And he admitted it was a fucking lie and still kept repeating it. Our Prime Minister.
Yeah. Nerdy makes a good point, and I have to move on. Right. Using Dave's reasoning, the internet has more impact because it's cheaper.
The fact of the matter is, there is no way. I don't think there's any way that we could possibly find an objective answer to this question.
No, if there was an objective answer to this question, it'd be terrible for me to ask it.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think there is. This is just opinions. I'm loosely going to go with the internet, but again, I think you could. It's easier to get data from the internet to quantify this than it would be for the entire history of printing.
Yeah,
but Jeff, I'm loosely going to go with the internet with this.
But Jeff, if you think about it, for instance, the Salem witches would not be a possibility. The Spanish Inquisition would not be a possibility nowadays. There's a lot of things that, they happen because the information. What?
Well, just these things wouldn't happen today. You sure about certain things?
Well, not. What I'm saying is, it would be very. What I was trying to say is that it would be very difficult for those things to happen today because people have access to the internet, so the lie would not be. You know what I mean?
I'm sorry, Ricardo. I disagree with that. It's very strongly.
I disagree with that.
Look at what's going on in Poland and Hungary right now, and how they're absolutely destroying and threatening the entire population of LGBT people.
Yeah,
look what's going on your southern border.
Sorry.
Look what's going on. Not yours. Their southern border. in America.
Yeah, but look at what's going on with the movement behind Biden and all the resistant on. So there's ways for people to get involved that wasn't available back in the printing press. That's what I was saying.
Yes.
So I'm not saying
But
that
the problem is,
internet is going to cure all evils in the world. What I'm saying is now there's something to fight that evil that wasn't available back in the printing press.
the problem is they are
that
winning.
thing to
at-
fight it is also
Whoa.
help to cause it.
Jenny,
So.
2
I
seconds.
think we can.
They
no,
are.
I think we
Wait!
can.
Just wait. Right. The problem is the people in power, are learning how to control the internet to restrict it without appearing to restrict it in those countries. And we haven't seen the use of the internet right now at this point, or up until say 5 or 6 years ago. The internet was an equalizing force for rebellion or for justice. In the last few years, we have started to see the tools that they will use to shut down that rebellion because they now see it as a threat.
Well, we can.
I don't disagree.
We can.
That's a point.
We can. I mean, we can. I think sometimes we can. As much as I've said about the internet, sometimes I think we can overstate the role of the internet as well. Like, I mean, a lot of people I have called like the Arab Spring, like the Facebook revolution, which is really oversimplifying the analysis of that and the role of the internet. And I'm not saying that it didn't play as
the problem is the thing you're missing there. The role that there is people don't understand what the internet is. Right? The internet's role in the Arab Springs was huge. That right? It was just the ability to communicate, the ability for people to communicate and organize on a level. Right? Nothing. That's not the web. That's not.
That's happened. That's happened way before. Similar things have happened way before internet age. In a short amount of time. Not
in the same way.
Go and look at 1848. Exactly the same.
You'd have to give me details.
European springtimes of people.
I'm not disputing that.
Exactly the same thing. Wave of revolutions hitting Europe within weeks, months of one another. Same as the Arab Spring.
I can't comment because I don't know, which is rare. I hate that.
Okay.
I don't like when I don't know things.
But are we talking about the same time frame?
Well, there you go. You know now.
No, I don't, because I won't remember.
We are talking similar time frames, yes. We are talking similar time frames.
Right. Any more comments before we move on?
I think we've done this one to death, honestly.
Considering what the question was. Mostly,
it's Murdoch's fault.
It's Murdoch's fault. If you enjoyed that, please hit the thumbs up button. If you didn't, hit the thumbs down. If you think you've got a better answer or just want to tell us how wrong we are, leave a comment down below. Subscribe down here for new questions every day and make sure you hit the bell so you don't miss out on our live shows. If you click over here, you'll see our latest upload. Over here, for what YouTube thinks you'll love the most. And finally, for a complete playlist of all our currently released questions, click here.